What's good? What's good? I'm back. Paul Pickett, Promo Palace LLC. This is vlog 29. I'm gonna call this one the importance of influencer marketing. Um, Influencer marketing is very important. TikTok influencers, Instagram influencers, YouTube influencers. Those would be like the top three, I would say. TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. Um, Influencers really got not just for musicians. I know most of these vlogs I do are really based on branding musicians and artists, but influencers in general like have a lot of power to help build brands or break artists. Because let's go from the music standpoint of view. We know major record labels are not breaking new artists. So how are the new artists breaking themselves? Two things, man: advertising and influencers. Advertising and influencers. Now, paying influencers is a form of advertising and marketing. Um, and if the thing with influencers is influencers, certain influencers got the power for people to react and reshare the content. You know what I'm saying? So, from a music standpoint of view, if major labels are not even breaking artists, it's like who's breaking artists? Even marketing companies like me, we don't just break artists or songs by ourselves. We go to other people for assistance for it because there's just so many different things you have to focus on. Unless you're just focusing on just YouTube. YouTube is like the only platform where I think you could just focus on that platform and make it. But if you're every other platform, you gotta include the other platforms. If you're just trying to make it on Facebook, well, you gotta use YouTube and TikTok and all these other things too. And these influencers, they're the ones building up these fan bases nowadays. They're like most influencers nowadays were average fans and average people. And they're not even a lot of these influencers. Like if you look at Charlie D'Amelio for TikTok, I mean, she's popular on TikTok in the social media world, but outside of that, she's not really famous. But she has a lot of influence when you got 100 million fans. Because even if 10 million of those engage with the post, that's a lot. That's a lot. And that's the thing with influencers. They got the power to get millions of people to engage with your music, And these TikTok influencers, I mean, they're killing it. You got and most TikTok influencers, they're also Instagram influencers, and they might be YouTube influencers, cause like the Logan Paul, Jake Paul, like these cats that got influence didn't get influence overnight. They built it up, The Joe Rogans of the world that got influence. These are the people that everybody's paying attention to nowadays. Nobody's going to the mainstream outlets, that are always biased. All the mainstream outlets are always going to be biased, especially when you come to music promotion. So it's better to just go to the non-biased places like the influencers, because influencers, trust me, they're not biased. When they got set rates on what they want for posts, they're not going to be biased on who's paying them. They're going to treat every client the same, and they're going to try to get good results out of every client if they're a real good influencer. So influencers are the one breaking music nowadays. They really are. And so they have a lot of power. Influencers got more power than DJs nowadays when it comes to breaking artists in the music business. They really do. Because DJs don't have the following and influence that these people. I don't know no DJ that's got 100 million followers strong. Like maybe Marshmello or something, but Marshmello's not just, you can't just pay Marshmello to break your record. I'm talking about DJs that you pay to break your record. They don't got no 10 million followers, 100 million followers. They don't even got 1 million followers. DJs that you will pay to break your records. They're lucky if they got 100,000 followers. So then you got to think only 10% of those are probably going to engage. So they might got 10,000 altogether, you know. But influencers got a lot of power. I mean, you can pay influencers to use your music in a post on Instagram. You can pay them to use your post on TikTok. Now, YouTube um, usually influencers have to upload the actual physical video. But even then, it's still worth it as long as they're linking your links in there for people to follow and subscribe and engage with your channel. And this is why I'm gonna do a vlog about this too. Why World Star Hip Hop is a waste of money. It doesn't give you the opportunity to get any engagement from fans. All you're getting is hate comments. World Star is never going to bring traffic to your actual channel, and anything that doesn't carry traffic over to your actual pages doesn't really benefit you in results. You know, so if you pay an influencer with 1 million followers to post your music on TikTok, and you got them, and you got your own TikTok, and they add your name, they should be able to get you followers based off of that. You know what I'm saying? Or they add your name in the comment section. They should be able to get you followers based on that. But World Star, they can add your name all they want. You're not getting no followers. It's not translating over to your everything that World Star. When you pay World Star, all the stats go to their page. All you're doing is paying them to help them basically, because all the stats stay on their pages. Even when they upload videos to their YouTube channels, they don't really like promote them in a sense that people would go to that other person's YouTube channel. They're just trying to keep everything in the house, And if you're not building your own fan base, what are we talking about here? So influencers just got a lot of pull, like a lot of influence. And there's all types of influencers out there. There's influencers that might dance to your record. There's influencers that might do art, draw to your record. I mean, there's so many different influencers out there, especially on TikTok and Instagram. You might have influencers that just post like animated videos all the time, and they got a lot of followers that like anime stuff. You might have people that just post cars, different automobiles and cars, or travel. Like I know an influencer that just does like travel stuff. They just travel places and do different posts and put the music behind it. Go on all these different beaches. There's so many different influencers out there with so many. You got influencers that just do card tricks. You know, any like any kind of tricks or dances or anything, man. There's so much out there. And that's another thing. As a musician, don't get caught up in that every influencer has to dance to your record, because certain influencers got influence based on certain things. Like I said, the ones that do artsy stuff, why would they dance to your record? They didn't get influence. They don't have influence over people by dancing. They have influence over people by doing their artwork, drawing pictures or paintings or whatever. And there's plenty of art people on TikTok that got millions and millions of followers that get you crazy amount of engagement, crazy amount of views and likes and comments, what I'm saying, off the post, just from drawing a picture and putting your music behind it. So influence comes from all different places. It's really whatever that influencer chooses to use as their content to gain influence, and every musician isn't making dance records anyways. So some of y'all ain't even really making records that fit with the dance influencers, but be wanting dances. No, you got to be using the artwork guys, the model chicks, I have one that owns a beauty salon that has millions of followers. You know what I'm saying? She has influence over a lot of women because she's always doing posts where she's doing women's hair and stuff like that. So a lot of women follow her to follow that, to see the different hair things she does, different designs, different colors, all the different methods. She shows you the methods right there and stuff. And she can get crazy amount of engagement for your song and a lot of people hearing your song. You know what I'm saying? So influencers have that a lot of importance, because influencers are breaking more records than DJs. Influencers are breaking more records than FM radio. FM radio ain't breaking no. The only artist FM radio is breaking is artists that already broke themselves. FM radio is not breaking new artists. Spotify is not breaking new artists. None of the major blogs are breaking new artists. All the artists, like, they don't get credit for breaking artists that broke themselves. That's the thing. You don't get credit for breaking artists. So FM radio, Spotify, top blogs, World Star, major labels, none of these places are breaking new artists. All the artists are breaking themselves on places like TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, SoundCloud, and even more artists breaking themselves on sound. More artists break themselves on Audio Mac. On Audio Mac, then Spotify's breaking artists, then World Star's breaking artists, then major labels, FM radios. None of the places are breaking new artists. But African artists are going to Audio Mac and breaking themselves on Audio Mac. How they're doing it, I don't know exactly. Because I just know Audio Mac is a big spot for a lot of African artists breaking themselves. Not so much U.S. artists or any other countries, but African artists. And I do have a lot of African clients that buy Audio Mac promotion, which I only do 3 days, like 7 days, and 9 days. You know what I'm saying? My Audio Mac promotion is based off of days. I don't really, because I don't have really a demand for people to buy like 3-4 months at a time. And usually when anybody's buying Audio Mac, it's only usually African clients from. And how am I able to tell that? Because I have an e-commerce store and they're all ordering from countries in Africa. So Audio Mac is a big thing in Africa, and artists are breaking themselves more on Audio Mac than Spotify is breaking new artists, than World Star is breaking new artists, than FM radio is breaking new artists, and major blogs or major labels for that matter too. Because influencers, the only people breaking new artists is new artists and influencers. Influencers, new artists. Because if artists ain't going to influencers, then they're breaking themselves through ads. And if not, then they're breaking themselves through influencers. That's how you're breaking yourself nowadays. Influencers and ads. And I probably need to do a vlog about that, influencers and ads. Because that's the main two things you need to focus on, influencers and ads. So, yes, influencers have a lot of importance, a lot of power. And yet influencers can be expensive, especially when you get on TikTok. Jason Derulo getting $75,000 a post, but this idea that Jason Derulo should just post your music for free just cause when he's getting $75,000 a post, who would do that but a complete idiot? Only a complete idiot that gets would get $75,000 a post and decide, I'm gonna just take this unsigned artist that I ain't never heard of and I'm gonna promote his music for free. No, you paying for it. Only people getting free promotion on Jason Derulo's accounts is mainstream artists. We've said this before. Mainstream artists are the only ones that don't gotta pay influencers. Because influencers have to use mainstream music to gain influence. I repeat, influencers have to use mainstream music to gain influence. You're not becoming no big influencer on the internet by solely just promoting unsigned artists. It's not happening. That is make-believe, fairy tale, imaginary, made-up, bogus things. There's not even been one single radio station on the planet that plays only unsigned artists that blew up. And it would never happen because if they don't play popular music, it's not happening. There's no blog on the planet that only promotes unsigned artists that is popping. If they don't got mainstream music, they are not popping. There is no playlist on the planet that's popping that doesn't have mainstream music on it. There's not going to be a playlist with all unsigned artists that's popping. It has to have some mainstream music on it or it's not popping. You might think it's popping, but it's not. So no FM radio station is popping without mainstream. No blog is popping without mainstream. No major labels is popping. Like, no major label is popping without mainstream artists. If they just had all unsigned, they just switch over and just bring in a bunch of unsigned artists to the label that ain't proved themselves yet. They're not gonna make no money. Everything. I mean, uh, there's no magazine. There's no music magazine on the planet that's popping that only has independent artists in it. It has to have something mainstream, a mainstream artist article or something, mainstream person on the cover or something. Something has to be mainstream for it to be popping. If not, it's not popping. So influencers have a lot of influence, but let's not forget they got a lot of influence by promoting mainstream music. But the idea that they're going to promote an unsigned artist for free, like you're a mainstream artist, is bogus. Why would anybody that's getting $1,000 a post say, "Yeah, I'm gonna just do all unsigned artists for free just cause"? So you're in the business of not making money and losing money. Once you get $1,000 a post, there's a reason you're getting $1,000 a post, because you're bringing $1,000 worth of results or more. I guarantee on TikTok you get $1,000 a post, and people are paying it over and over again. They're getting results. They're seeing results. You know, I've literally seen a post get 29,000 views with only 100 followers on the account, because the algorithms of TikTok are totally different than other sites. And I need to make a vlog about that, how TikTok's algorithms are more beneficial to content creators than any other platform. TikTok's algorithms benefit content creators more, because any other platform, you're not getting 29,000 views with 100 followers. Unless you just bought the views. You're not getting 29,000. You're not going to, no other Instagram, you're not going to have 100 followers, post a post, and get 29,000 views without advertising for the post. It's not happening. But in TikTok, you could get 29,000 views off of the hashtags and the reactions alone. Because the algorithms, the more people start to watch, the more people that watch it, and the longer they watch it and the longer they engage with it, the more TikTok pushes it out there for you. Instagram ain't pushing songs for you or posts for you. Facebook ain't pushing posts for you. TikTok is the only platform that will push posts for you when it starts getting a lot of traction. They'll push it out even further and further. And the better it gets, to push it out even further and further. Nobody else is doing that. They could act like the algorithms benefit, but no, it's not happening. So yeah, influencers are very important, just for the simple fact that major labels don't break new artists. Just for the simple fact that FM radio doesn't break new artists. Just for the simple fact that WorldStar don't break new artists, Spotify don't break new artists, Apple, Deezer, Tidal, whoever you want to name. None of these places, there's no major blogs that are breaking new artists. The artists that they're trying to take claim for breaking are already popping. They already got fan base. They're already breaking themselves. You don't get to take credit for breaking an artist that broke themselves. And that's what's happening nowadays. And they're doing it through ads and influencers. And don't get me wrong, ads are more affordable than influencers. But influencers have more power than ads, because they got more influence to get it out there further, further, faster, more engagement. You'll get way more engagement off a TikTok influencer than running a YouTube ad. Trust me, unless you spend it, like we're talking about, you spending $100 or $1,000 to $1,000 a day on ads, which $100 a day, I mean, that's a lot of ads. That's $3,000 a month that most artists can't afford. But you could pay an influencer $3,000 and get a lot of engagement out. You might could get 1 million views out of a $3,000 influencer post, not counting the likes, comments, reshares, and we're talking about TikTok. We're talking about duets too. So yeah, influencers are very important, just for the simple fact that influencers break more new artists than pretty much anybody on the planet except new artists. So only new artists breaking themselves, or new artists going through influencers, which is still new artists breaking themselves if they didn't have major label help, or they didn't have help from all these other platforms and they paid out their pocket. It's still breaking yourself if long as you paid for it. But if somebody else is paying to break you, you ain't break yourself. Somebody paid you to be broke, so they paid for you to be broke, and the person that broke your music, it gets the credit for breaking you. But artists nowadays usually break themselves. They break themselves more than unsigned, more than major labels, and they're doing it through ads and influencers. And I don't think I really got to say more about this. I mean, so y'all need to get out there, target these Instagram influencers, these TikTok influencers, these YouTube influencers, and don't think that you could just pitch the music to them for free and that they're just gonna promote it just cause. That ain't happening with influencers. Because being an influencer is a job. They make a living being an influencer. It's not a charity. So don't go in the mindset, you unsigned artists, thinking that influencers, don't think it's like playlists where you could submit the playlist for free on SoundPlay or TuneMuck or Submit Hub and you could get picked up, and even Submit Hub, you're paying $1 a submission. So stop it there. You're not getting free submissions. And any free submission you get that anybody picks it up, this idea that you're going to break your song through a free submission is bogus, fairy tale, imaginary, made up. Any free submissions are not getting any results. Any free submissions are not getting results. There's not a lot of, if it's a playlist, you're submitting to it for free outside of Spotify's playlist. Guess what? It doesn't have no listeners. You're not going to get no listeners on. You're wasting time submitting a free playlist. Because, I mean, what are we talking about here? Like, if you're not paid for advertising or marketing and influence, what are we talking about here? This idea that you can free promote your way to the top is bogus, fairy tale, imaginary, made up. No big influencer is going to promote your music for free unless you're their best friend. So if you go into this method of just submitting your song to influencers, you won't get nowhere. Because with influencers that have influence, only one thing talks: money. Because they're all getting paid to post I don't care if you're making $50 a day to post and you got five different people paying every single day. That's $250 a day. Why would they just promote your joint for free just cause? When everybody else is paying. And I can tell you it's not going to be because your song is hotter than other five people's. That is not going to work. So don't go in this mindset and think you could just submit to influencers for free and you're going to get something out of it. No, influencers are getting paid to use their influence. And yes, they're very important because I told y'all, they break more artists than major labels, Spotify, top blogs, FM radio, World Star, whatever else you want to pretty much name. The only thing that is breaking more new artists than influencers is the artists themselves, breaking themselves. So yeah, I want y'all to hit that click now, subscribe button in that right hand corner. And that's the importance of this is vlog 29, the importance of influencers, or why influencers are important. And it's just simple because most artists break themselves off of ads and influencers, and most artists nowadays, 9 times out of 10, the artists is breaking themselves. And even when they get the major labels and they ain't broke themselves, they're just going to give you advance, and you still got to build fan base. You still got to break yourself. Major labels are not going to do the work for you or do any work for you until they feel that they are in a position to make money off of you. And until you have a certain amount of fans, no label is in a position to make money off of you. I talked about this, in my vlogs before. Murray from Fayetteville. They spent over $250,000 on this dude. You think he had this mindset of, I got to make money overnight? No, because guess what? Nobody makes a single dollar until you break even. Until that $250,000 is recouped, nobody's making nothing. No profit. Stop it. So Murray as an artist understands, I can't think about just making money right now. I have to build my fan base up. I have to make people appreciate, love, and embrace my music, or like my music, or become a fanatic of it. And that's not going to happen by trying to make a profit overnight in the music business. Nobody makes a profit overnight in the music business. It's a process. It's a fan building process. But too many of y'all want to make a profit overnight in the music business and you got zero fans. Just because you got social media followers does not mean you got fans. I repeat, just because you got social media followers does not mean you got fans. And if you gotta pay if you gotta pay for advertising on social media, you don't got as much influence on social media as you think. You have to build your influence. Why do I run Facebook ads? Because I don't have as much Facebook influence as I would like to have. I have influence mainly over my customer base, which did not primarily come from Facebook. My customer base has come from email marketing. It's come from Google ads, Facebook ads, YouTube ads, Twitter ads, from business listings, from SEO, But yeah, influencers have all the influence in the music business, and not just for music business, for brands too. Influencers are the ones that brands are going to. All these YouTube influencers, all these TikTok influencers, all these Instagram influencers, these are the people these brands are sponsoring and paying to advertise and promote their brand. Every YouTube podcast channel I watch has a sponsor, a brand sponsor for that show, for that episode. They all, whether it's per episode or for the overall show, they all got brand sponsors because they all got influence. They all got influence. They all plug in some kind of ad, some kind of sponsorship, because the sponsorship knows that they got influence over people. And if Joe Rogan says, hey, this is good, guess what? There is people that are going to check that out and see if it's good. If Joe Rogan says he bought something or he advertised something and he says he likes it, guess what? There's people that's going to buy it just because Joe Rogan says. If Charlie D'Amelio gets on and tells all 100 million of her fans to buy a product, people are going to buy the product. How many? I don't know, but I guarantee people are going to buy the product just because Charlie said. There's people that's going to give it a shot just because Charlie said. Just because she has influence. When you got 100 million followers on TikTok, you got a lot of influence. You got a lot of influence. I mean, you literally got influence over half of one country. America's got like 200 million people, I think, in America. You got like half. You got influence over half the country. You're Donald Trump on TikTok when you got 100 million followers. You got influence over half the country, because Trump literally has influence over half the country. Trump is an influencer. Donald Trump is an influencer. He is. If I could afford to pay Donald Trump to advertise my t-shirt brand, I would. I would. You know why? Because I know that Trump followers and supporters are going to buy my t-shirt. And my t-shirt brand is for animal lovers and dog lovers. So before you come out with this mindset that if I paid Trump to advertise my T-shirts that are for dog lovers and animal lovers, and you say it's racism, stop it. Stop it. He has influence. Anybody that has influence over a consumer base that can make you money, why would you not pay them? If you're bringing in politics into paying an influencer, good luck with that. If you're going to bring politics into paying an influencer, I don't care about a political view of influencer. I deal with influencers, some influencers that are homosexuals. Do I agree with being a homosexual? Do I hang out with homosexuals? No, I wouldn't. You know, like, I mean, my neighbor's a homosexual. I talk to him. I I converse with him. You know, we communicate. But when I go out and hang out at a bar or something with him, no, not really. We don't really have a lot in common. I don't really. It's not really my cup of tea. I don't really agree with that. You know, but it doesn't stop me from paying him to promote music. It doesn't stop me from doing business with him and putting money in his pocket. It doesn't, it doesn't change the fact that he's a very nice businessman, a very honest businessman. It doesn't change the fact that he cares about the results of my clients when I pay him for promotion. So just because I don't agree with somebody's lifestyle or political views would not stop me from paying them as an influencer. It wouldn't stop me as long as it benefits my brand, making money and building consumers. And this is, I mean, and when you go after consumer base, you just go after everybody that you can. You go after every consumer that you can that will potentially like your product or your service. You don't decide, well, let me only just go after Democratic consumers, or let me just go after Republican consumers, or let me just go after independent consumers, or let me only go after Christian consumers or Muslim consumers. No, man, like, you go after every consumer that will potentially like something. So, like, for my dog T-shirts, I go after everybody. I don't care if you're Christian, Muslim, white, black, green, purple, blue, gay, straight, lesbian. If you like dogs and you like animals, or you care about dogs or you care about animals, then you are a potential customer for my brand. So I would pay anybody that has influence over making more consumers come to the table. I wouldn't care what the political views is. So influencers are very important. And you pay an influencer based on their influence, based on the results, based on the reactions they get, the engagements they get, I mean, if you pay an influencer on TikTok and you get 250,000 views and 30, 40,000 likes and 3, 4, 500 comments and 40, 50 reshares, that was a good day for a post. That was worth it. That is definitely worth it, because even when you advertise, it's going to take days and days and days and days and days and days to get to that amount of engagement, unless you just got massive advertising dollars. So influencer could just get to those masses faster, so much faster. And they got so much more influence because you, as an advertiser trying to advertise a new brand, you're trying to gain influence. You don't have influence yet. You're trying to gain influence over other consumers. So paying somebody who already has influence over consumers or fans or people is a quicker process. It's going to get you quicker to the results, and it's always an organic process, just paying somebody to post content and letting their followers react. It's one of the most organic processes. It's more organic than you advertising. It is. Yeah. So influencers, yes, they can cost more to advertisers than ads, but they have a quicker reach, a more influential reach. sometimes a bigger reach, depending on what you're advertising and what keywords you're targeting and what demographics and what ages, but influencers are just, they go to their whole fan base. So the whole, 100, when Charlie D'Amelio post to TikTok, 100 million people potentially could see see that post and hear your song, and even if only 10 to 20% do, that's good. 10 to 20 million people. So yeah, this is vlog 29, the importance of influencers, or basically why influencers are important. Once again, I want to thank y'all for tuning in. My name is Paul Pickett. I own Promo Palace LLC. Hit the click now in the right-hand corner. Don't forget the audio version of this vlog also goes to my podcast, the Paul Pickett Podcast, which you could Google Paul Pickett Podcast. Dozens of platforms will pop up. The audio version goes to Spotify, Apple, Deezer, Amazon, TuneIn, Slacker, iHeartRadio, and dozens of other platforms. The video version of this podcast goes to my YouTube channel. It'll go to Facebook and Instagram TV as well. And hit follow if you're on those platforms, and hit subscribe if you're on your YouTube. Also, don't forget to check out my website, promopalace.biz. You see it right down in the left corner, live at promopalace.biz. Also, you can email me at promopalace1@gmail. That's promopalace, the number 1 at Gmail. Or you can email me at paul@promopalace.biz. Also, check out newlitter.com. That's my apparel, my clothing apparel. We got t-shirts, hoodies, and things for actual dogs. It's apparel for dog lovers, animal lovers. We're actually going to include cats soon, which I'm probably going to get cats done up here probably this week. Start working on cat designs. Start adding cats for the cat lovers, because cats have litters too. Also, I got to give shouts out to the Dizzle brand, dizzlebrand.com. Let me stand up wearing the t-shirt again today. As you see, the Dizzle, it actually looks like a bottle of liquor. If you notice, it looks like a bottle of liquor, the Dizzle. For shizzle, my number 1 brand is the Dizzle, dizzlebrand.com. Check them out. Dizzle brand coming soon to an ABC store or club near you. Get on there, follow them on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. And you can also check out recipes that they have that you can make with the Dizzle brand liquor. They got a bunch of different recipes brought up by Mike Dizzle, who started the Dizzle brand, and my mentor, one of my best friends of all time, Chris Roker, is a business partner over there. And so we're going to keep trying to help push this Dizzle brand, and that's it. So I want to thank y'all for tuning in to another Promo Palace LLC vlog. Be on the lookout for the next couple vlogs. And want to be Why World Stars Are Waste of Money. And I'm going to do one about ads and influencers. Actually, I think I already got ads and influencers, so we should be good to go. I got so many of these vlogs, it's hard to keep up, and I'm doing a podcast every other day and a vlog every other day. It's hard to keep up. I try to keep up coming up with titles. I think we're going to also do one like ownerships and partnerships in the music business and expectations in the music business. I really got to go over that one, because artist expectations are always just too high for the little bit of money that they're spending on themselves. We're gonna call it low money, low expectations. That's what we'll call it. But thank you for tuning in to Promo Palace LLC vlogs. My name is Paul Pickett. This was the importance of influencers, or why influencers are important. Thank you for tuning in.